Hi, welcome to our Red Jacket Movement final 4 months. I'm Auri, Hatheway National Sales Director with Mary Kay, and I apologize for the delay. My browser was not working with the video, so I had to get a new one, That, or you could just realize I am the only Latina national on here, and I just had to start 5 minutes late because it's my culture. I don't know. I'm so sorry about that delay, but thank you so much for being on and for watching live. And I just have to start by saying congratulations on earning this special privilege. What a privilege it is to be poured into by 11 different nationals. I had to become a national sales director to really get to know these national sales directors. So this is such an honor, such a privilege. We wanted to come together and honor you for being a new red jacket, yay, or getting back into your red jacket, right? And so we are so excited that you're on. So let me tell you what we're gonna do this evening. I'm gonna tell you what your training topic is, and I really hope that you like it. It's how to finish your directorship and qualification, DIQ, in 2.5 weeks, okay? Before you're like, I don't even know if I wanna be a director, Ari, whoa, I don't even think I could do it that fast. Before I lose you there, I do want you to know, and some of you got excited about that because that is your training topic today. I want you to know, even if directorship is not on your brain, maybe not, there's a lot you're gonna be able to glean from my story of how I was able to finish my qualification period in just 2.5 weeks, okay? So I don't want you to miss out on what it is that you can learn about what it's like to go quickly and with a lot of strength, obviously. So I am about to celebrate 15 years with Mary Kay Cosmetics. I always like to joke that they illegally let me start when I was 10 years old. Mary Kay, it's awesome stuff. And I think my most favorite thing about Mary Kay is that I am more in love with the company and the products and the people and the opportunity today than I was when I started almost 15 years ago. And that says a lot, because when most people have been in a career for a while, they're completely bored out of their mind. They're exhausted by it. They're tired of it. And at retirement parties, people are happy, excited, and drinking. And I remember when I went to my first retirement of a national sales director, there wasn't a dry eye. Everyone was sad. She just said on the microphone after everyone had spoke, I just wish I had more time. And when I heard those words, I thought, I'm home. If somebody's saying that at their retirement party, then I'm home. So welcome to Mary Kay. So let me tell you what we're gonna do. I am gonna train you, but first we're gonna give shout outs to those of you that completed your online form to get recognition this evening. So we're gonna do recognition, crown our queens, and then I'm gonna answer some of the questions that you guys submitted. Not a lot, I only have like 3 questions to answer, and then we're gonna dig right into the material of finishing your qualification as quickly as possible. What I like to call it is fun, fast, and furious. I've been saying that for years, probably even, it was definitely before the movie The Fast and the Furious came out. So I'm excited about our training topic today. All right, so our queens with the most amount of faces, I'm gonna count them down, our top 5 with 19 faces done this week. The beautiful Mercedes Osborne in the Aberney Stanley unit from the Brittany Caps National Area. Congratulations, Mercedes. Our number 4 with 20 faces, just one more than Mercedes, is Amanda Lopes. Amanda's in the Lindsay Marshall unit, and she's in the Roya Mattis Wild National Area. Our number 3 with 21 faces is Julie Holmberg. Now, Julie is in her own unit because she's her own director. So from the Julie Holmberg unit in the Crystal Trojanowski National Area. Congratulations, Julie. Our number 2, she got 22 faces done this week, you guys. Anne-Marie Parenteau, and she is in the Brienne Suffren unit. Go, 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 Anne-Marie and Brienne in the Roya Mattis National Area. So huge shout out to Roya for having 2 in the top 5 today. And with 65 faces done, yay, 65 in a week. I said that right, 65. Blow your mind in a week. S. Marie, and she's in the Bakir Culture Unit. Congratulations to S. Marie, to Bakir from the Joanne National Area, Joanne Bertolin National Area, who happens to be my senior National Sales Director. So Bakir is my family. So excited for you guys. And now we want to recognize our top in interviews. So I'm going to do the top 4 because there was a tie for number 2, and number 2 really is a tie, and then the 5th spot had like 10 people. So We're just going to do the top 4 today with 9 interviews this week. Woohoo! 9 interview is Natarika Strickland. She's also in the Bakir unit, and she's in the Joanne Bertolin National Area. So congratulations to Natarika and to Bakir. Congrats. Our number 3, she held 10 interviews. And so this is actually number 2 and number 3. They tied really for spot number 2, really. Let's say it that way. And that is Christina Rodriguez from the Brianne Sufrin unit and the Roya Mattis National Area. Congratulations, Christina Rodriguez. And she tied with Julie Homer from the Julie Homer unit from the Crystal Trojanowski National Area. Woohoo! These girls are on interviewing maniacs. And our number 1, you guys, our number 1 did 22 interviews because she interviewed everyone she facialed. What a concept. I always say, for me not to share the opportunity and not interview a woman, it's like giving them cleanser at their facial and not the moisturizer. Like one just goes with the other. So congratulations to Anne-Marie Parentau from the Brianne Sufrin Union from the Roya Mattis National Area. And with the most amount of parties, I'm going to list our top 3 in parties because number 4 had like the same number of parties as a lot of people. Okay. So our number 3 in parties, she held 5 parties this week. Julie Holmberg from the Julie Holmberg unit from the Crystal Trojanowski National Area. Julie, I love seeing your name all over the scoreboard. That is awesome. Number 2, she held 6 parties in this 1 week. Mercedes Osborne, who was also our number 5 for the most amount of faces, and she's in the Abernee Stanley unit in the Brittany Capps National Area. Congratulations, guys. And our number 1, drum roll, woo! She had 10 parties. And her name is S. Marie. She was our queen of faces in the Bakir Culture unit in the Joanne Bertolin National Area. So congratulations to you, S. Marie. Honorable mention for most number of team members. Really, that's your goal. Your goal is to inspire other women to join you on your journey because you are leading by example, by example, by example, and your journey means so much that when other people see it, they're moved. I remember that's why I started Mary Kay. I saw Daisha and I saw stars in her eyes. And I was like, I want to do what she's doing. So congratulations to all of these consultants or directors that added 2 new this week from the Roya Mattis National Area and the Brianne Sufrin unit. We have Christina Rodriguez and Anne-Marie Parentau. Congratulations. From the Roya Mattis National Area and the Lindsay Marshall unit, we have Amanda Lopes. Congratulations. From the Auri Hatheway National Area and the Alexandra Fair unit, congratulations to Juan Rodriguez, our DIQ. Woohoo! And from the Auri Hatheway National Area and the Esther Sanchez unit, we have our other DIQ, Vivian Bijamil, who also added 2. Yay! All right, the following added 3 new team members this week. This is huge, huge, huge. Julie Holmberg from the Julie Holmberg unit from the Crystal Trojanowski National Area. Congratulations. Louisa Slay. She's from the Lori Isaacson unit from the Daisha Wegot National Area. Congratulations, Louisa. Mercedes Osborne from the Aberdeen Stanley unit and the Brittany Capps National Area. Congratulations, Mercedes. And our queen, you guys, our queen of the most amount of team members added this week, she added 4 in 1 week. Her name is Kelly Floyd, and Kelly is from the Sydney Jackson unit and the Kristen Myers National Area. So congratulations to you, Kelly. All right, so I'm going to answer just a few questions. Like I said, I'm only going to answer 3 questions, and then I'm going to jump right into my training. The first question that I was asked is, how do you motivate your new consultants to want to start their business with inventory and with product? And to me, this one's really simple. The answer is by example, by example, by example. And what do I mean by that is I have not ever shown up to a party, a facial, or an appointment without all the product that I need. I might leave it in my car, but I have access to it instantly. And so that really immediately sets the tone that when you decide to start a Mary Kay business, you're going to get product. So for the most part, I mean, there are exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, anyone I've personally recruited has done a start order. The reason why is because they're not even going to sign on the dotted line if they're not thinking I'm going to need product. It's really obvious they need products. I always show up with product. So the conversation is much more organic organic. It's much more expected. It's not like, oh, what do you mean I need products? You know, like it's not like out of the blue because they've seen it. So your example sets the tone. Are you making people wait for products? Are you saying things like, oh, I'm about to place an order. What do you need? If these are the types of things that are happening in your business, you're going to struggle with setting the tone or painting the picture for new consultants to want to start with products. Okay. If you don't have enough product to service your customers, you're going to struggle there. And so what is a good bar to set for how much product you need? I'm going to tell you this. You should only place an order once a month. That is your goal. That was my goal. My goal was to have enough inventory on my shelf that I only reordered once a month. As a national, I order once a month. Why? Because then I could control my expenses. I knew it was $9.35 a month and I could budget for that. And I could, because I'm a businesswoman, and as a businesswoman, you track. And that's the difference between somebody who has a hobby and someone who has a business. Someone who has a business tracks, someone who has a hobby has no clue what's going in or out or whatever. This is just fun, okay? And so you want to join the businesswoman side because then you're making the business income, okay? The second tip I want to give you is you need to master the inventory talk. Chances are your director has it recorded on a video and you can listen to it over and over and over and take notes and master this. And the reason why I tell you to master is the same thing as mastering a skincare class, because then you feel more confident. And when you feel more confident, you portray that confidence when you're sharing the reasons why the person should have inventory. The other thing I want you to master, and it's part of the inventory talk or the presentation that we share about their options when it comes to doing a business setup, is that we want to be very confident about the resources that are available to them. So one of the things that I say to women is I say, now you will have the choice to make if you want to start your Mary Kay business with product or not. I want you to know that should you choose to have your products on hand, I've helped thousands of women find the resources to get those products on hand. And that's a conversation we'll have after you complete your new consultant orientation. And so I already set the tone for, let me overcome their objections and also paint a picture of having resources on hand for them. And the last thing that I want to share that's important about motivating your new consultants to want to start with product is be able to overcome objections. This is the same way that we overcome objections with bookings, and then you become a master at overcoming objections with team building. You will learn to overcome objections when it comes to starting your business with product. And of course, your example counts, because people always ask me, well, what did you start with? And you're like, oh, why didn't I start with the full story? I still want to say the full story. And if you did start with the full story, you're a smart girl, right? Because you get to say, oh, I started with the full story. Then everybody wants to do what you do. So if you're like, oh, I wish I could go back and start with a full story. So why don't you do that? Why don't you just go back and start with a full story? Why don't you go ahead and get access to the resources that you need and get your full store? You know, I kind of compare it to trying to run in the Olympics when you only have one leg, okay? It's a lot harder. You don't have the advantage that people with two legs have. So why not get that second leg? It's an option to you. So you can say, I restarted my business with a full store. It's a truth, and I'm a truth teller. It's important that you're a truth teller. So you say, I restarted my business with a full store because I did it the first time and I realized it was like running a race with one leg. So I started with a full store. I realized the value of having inventory. I realized the value of my time. And I realized that people will not take me seriously if I don't have the products on hand, whatever you want to say. Okay, so that was the first question. The second question is, how do I recruit prospects who postpone because they don't have the money? They're like, oh, I don't have the money this week. Can we get together next week? I don't have the money this week. Can we get together next week, right? And so this is the story that they're telling you. In Spanish, it's el cuento, right? El cuento, like what they're just like passing along to you. Okay, so here's my answer. Ultimately, I don't recruit them. I don't. Okay, so the top reason, and this is according to Entrepreneur Magazine, the top reason a small business fails. Are you ready? From cash flow problems. 82% of all small businesses fail due to cash flow problems. So this is the truth, and I'm a truth teller. If you can't successfully run your personal finances, it becomes increasingly difficult to run your business finances, okay? So it's kind of like, I'm not really good at reading. So I've got my starter reading books like, you know, Sue Saw Bob and I See the Dog, and I'm having difficulty with that. And now you hand me a first grade book And I'm like, I can't do both. There's no way. Okay. So one actually becomes a building block for the next. Okay. And that is one of the reasons why you could tell almost right off the bat who is and who isn't going to be successful running a business. I don't care if it's a Mary Kay business. That statistic was not about a Mary Kay business. It was about all small businesses, entrepreneur magazines. The top reason for failure in small businesses is cash flow problems. And so that is a cash flow problem when they don't have the $100, okay? And that just means that they're not being resourceful. They, and I know that situations happen. I'm not talking about situations there are exceptions to the rule. I'm not saying there aren't exceptions to the rule, but in general, you guys, it is really difficult to run a successful business when you're having that much cash flow problems in your life, okay? I think the other thing is you don't have peace and rest in your life, and now you're trying to add something else on. And so really, can the person handle it all, right? And so I want women who already have their life and their finances in their life, they've got that straight. They want more. They want more. And that's what I'm looking for personally. That's just me, because I find that they can handle more. When this is not okay, it's really hard to handle more. Okay. You got to get this straight first. So I keep them as a customer till they get it straight, and then they become a potential. All right. So that is my recommendation for that. I mean, always have them host a party. That there's nothing more motivating than them hosting a party to get free products. And then at that party, I share the opportunity. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is the best stuff. I'm like, you guys, who do you think would be good at this? And then they're like, oh my gosh, Lillian. And Lillian's the hostess. Lillian, she'd be great at this. I'm like, really? You guys think she'd be good? Tell her why. And then her cousin tells her why, and her mom tells her why, and her neighbor and her best friend. And eventually one of them says something like this, you know what? I would do a party for you. I would buy from you. I would totally support you. And all of a sudden they are committing themselves to her. And I'm going to tell you something. That woman who did not have the $100 finds them. And that is what I'm looking for. I know some people give out catalogs to help them sell or host a party. I don't want to enable them too much. I really don't. I want you to pull yourself. I want you to show me that you are a pull yourself up by the bootstraps type of girl, because honestly, that's what it takes to run a business. If you are not a pull yourself up by the bootstraps type of girl, you're not going to make it in any business. It's not just Mary Kay. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I want her to show it to me. So I personally, you can do whatever you want, but personally, I don't hand out catalogs and tell them to sell to 100. I don't tell them they can use their hostess credit for the starter kit. I don't do any of that. I'll have them host to earn free products with the purpose of recruiting the women that have the highest influence in her life, her circle of influence, to recruit her, because that's when she'll find the $100. That's when she says, you know what? I'm pulling out the emergency credit card and doing this. See, she has it. She has it. It's just that she wasn't willing. And so that there's a difference there. All right. The last question is, it was actually the last 4 questions, and I combined them because it was like the same question. How do I stay motivated? All right. How do I stay motivated? Or how do I get over the overthinking, okay? Or how do I maintain my focus, okay? Or how do I stay motivated when I'm on the verge of great things and I just don't see it on the scoreboard? To me, all of these were the same, okay? And there's a very simple answer to all 4 of these questions, and that is activity, 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 and activity, okay? Do not underestimate the power of your activity, okay? Now, nobody asked me this question, but I kind of wish someone did, because it just goes right along with this, and I'm gonna talk more about activity, is Auri, how do I increase my belief? And you see, you already believe in Mary Kay because you see others, right? You see us all, the nationals, you see the directors, you see the girls on your team who've been around longer. You see the Applause magazine with the paychecks. You totally believe in Mary Kay. You see the stories, right? You read the stories, you hear the stories. You see the lives that change. I mean, sometimes you see the lives change right before you. And so you believe in Mary Kay, but to drill that belief, because you believe in Mary Kay, you believe that it works, you believe that it works for others, but ultimately, do you believe it'll work for you? I think that that's like the question that nobody dares to ask. So I'm going to dig in here a little bit. To really drill that belief into your heart and anchor it deep into who you are, and to me, it's more important for you to anchor it into who you are, what you really need. And you're like, why? What is it? What do I need? Tell me, what do I need? Here it is, these two: consistent activity. Now, when you're writing notes, I want the word consistent to be bigger than the word activity. Because really it's more than activity, it's the consistency. Because you can do a lot of activity and then stop. And then it takes a while to get going again, right? So start, and then it gets a little too crazy, so then you stop, okay? But it's the consistent activity. So I want you to bold, highlight, underline the word consistent, okay? I'm gonna share a quick scenario with you. You know when you set a goal and you have a goal poster and you're like all in, you're sold out, you want it so bad, your director knows, your husband knows, your children know, your coworkers know, your customers know, like everyone knows, and you so believe this is the right time at the right place, like this is it, this is happening, okay? So you're ready to go, and then all of a sudden you start to lose belief, okay? Why? What causes that loss in belief? And it is almost always a lack of consistent activity. Because most of the time we try to cram a lot into a little, our belief goes up, but that's exhausting. So then we have to take a break, and when we take a break, we lose belief. And so I want you to grab this and hold on to it and really digest it, because this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say that I've said it at all this whole time. Your subconscious mind does not let you believe in you until you become consistent with your activity. It is a self-defense mechanism so you don't let yourself down. So you know how some people like really believe in themselves? That's because they have consistent activity. When you think about anything you've ever done and done well, it was consistent. For example, if you have a high school diploma, you probably did not ever doubt that you'd graduate from high school because you went to school every day. So the thought of not graduating was not really a thought or an option because you went to school every day. Your consistent activity determined the outcome. That's a really simple example. I can give you another one. If you've made a commitment to having a healthy lifestyle and you go to the gym and you go spinning every Monday and every Friday, and it is consistent activity, you believe you're a healthy, fit person, okay? Nobody can steal that from you because it's in your consistent habits, okay? So until you become consistent with your activity, your subconscious does not allow you to believe in yourself. You want belief that no one could ever take from you. You want to believe you're going to get this done. You want to believe that it doesn't matter what your husband says, what your mom says, what your kids say, what anybody says, that you're going to get this done. Are you ready? Consistent activity. It is the cure to everything. So I know people talk about activity, but it must be consistent. So let me just give you an example of what consistent activity is. I tell my DIQs, when you're in DIQ, the goal in DIQ is to create consistent activity that you will continue as a director. It is not to burn through DIQ. Because if you burn through DIQ, it will tell your subconscious mind, oh my gosh, this is what directorship is going to be like. Abort mission, get out. Okay. But when you consistently add one new thing into your life, you can handle that. And you're preparing yourself for the next stage of life, which is directorship. And DIQ is an internship for directorship. That consistency is everything, okay? So what does consistency look like? I'll give you an example. I go to my weekly success meeting. I hold my one party a week that I told my director I was gonna hold, and I'm on my weekly training call. That simple. And by the way, as a red jacket and above, that's baseline. Like that's like base, bottom of the barrel. I do this every week. I go to my weekly success meeting, no ifs, ands, ors, or buts. I get it done. I attend one party a week, no matter what. I double, like my day to hold a party is Saturday at 1. I will put 2, 3, 4 parties Saturday at 1. One will hold. I double book it, triple book it. If I feel like the person is not getting me a guest list, you know, kind of using words that aren't sure, like, yeah, I'm going to see how many can get together. I'm like, everybody's going to be Saturday at 1, because Saturday at 1, let's be clear, I'm holding a party, because that is my consistent activity. Okay. And the last thing that I want to share with you is a quote from Gloria Mayfield Banks. And I love this quote. Build a routine that creates a machine that drives the dream. Build a routine that creates a machine that drives the dream. That is your formula for success. It doesn't matter to me what your weekly consistent activity is like. It has to be based on the week, but it must be consistent. And it has to be consistent week to week. There's a science behind that. There's a psychology behind that. God created you with a 7-day renewal cycle in so many of your organs, in your mind, in your brain. There's 1 day of rest. Sunday's your day of rest. There's so many things that happen in a weekly cycle. It must be religiously, what does my perfect week look like? And that's why we create a weekly plan sheet. Your perfect week, you create it, and then you hit the repeat button. Honestly, I know the word consistency is not very sexy, but we all want success, and success is very sexy, right? And so statistics have shown the people that are the most successful live the most consistent lives. It's really monotonous and really boring. Every Monday, they do the same thing. And every Tuesday, they do the same thing. And every Wednesday, they do the same thing. And every Thursday, and every Friday, and every Saturday, and every Sunday. They even eat a lot of the same thing and make a lot of the same eating choices and make a lot of the same activity choices. And their lives are extremely predictable. There's a reason for that. When you live an extremely consistent life, it creates a lot of safety in your subconscious, which allows you to play full out. My number one recommendation, consistent activity. All right, so those are the answers to the questions for today. Let's dig right into our training today. How to finish your qualification in 2.5 weeks. Okay. So I actually finished my qualification in 2.5 weeks. It went by really fast, and I'm going to tell you why I did it in 2.5 weeks. Let me just give you a little backstory. I started Mary Kay in July. I did not want to recruit. That was not on the radar at all. I had no desire to recruit at all. I actually wasn't even sure why I did Mary Kay. I was kind of embarrassed to tell people I was a Mary Kay beauty consultant, but I did it because I was desperate to be a homeowner. I had graduated from college 4 years prior, and 4 years later, even though I have a degree in math, finance, and economics, I used to be an actuary. I calculated financial risk. I was no closer to being a homeowner than I was the day I graduated from college. And that to me was completely unacceptable and extremely frustrating. I was like, how is it that I don't have anything more in my savings account? Because every time I saved up a little bit, I needed new tires for the car, then I needed a new car, then I needed glasses, like all sorts of things that come up. And this raise and this promotion they have been promising me was to be found nowhere. And so my goal was to be a homeowner, and I want you to understand, I wanted to own a home worse than the air I was breathing. I was desperate. I would look for homes, even though I didn't have a down payment. I would look at pre-construction homes. I was also always looking at realtor.com. I mean, I was constantly looking for houses. On weekends, I'd go looking for homes. Like, it was my passion. It was my dream. I was actively searching for a home. So I was really depressed at work in the sense that I was inexperienced, a career growth, so to speak, right? So that really was my goal. And I just thought, whatever I sell, I'll save. And by the time I go to buy a house, eventually I'll have more money in my savings account if I start a business than if I don't. What happened was, my first month in Mary Kay, I did a power start because my director said, that's a good idea. You should do a power start. It's 30 faces in 30 days. Get one done. And I said, okay, I'll do that. It was to win like this bracelet with the charm. It's like, okay, I want that bracelet. I want the charm. I'm going to do it. And I had $3,000 in sales. And when I went to deposit that, I was like, okay, like this works. So I was like, Disha, what do I do now? She goes, oh, you're going to do 30 faces again this month. I was like, oh, okay. So I did 30 faces again. That month, she called me and she said, oh, I really want to talk to you about how Mary Kay works and team building. I said, oh, no, I'm not interested in that. I like making my 50%. That's good enough. She said, no, don't worry about it. Like, I'll take care of all your people for you. I said, nothing works that way. She goes, as a car driver, it does. I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, let me come over, explain it to you. And she came over and she showed me the steps to success brochure. And as soon as I saw that brochure, and this is why it's so important to have activity, because I would never have necessarily been on Dacia's radar other than she saw $1,200 reorders going in, okay? And so I obviously showed up on her radar. And so she came over and she showed me the steps to success brochure. And that really was kind of like the first time that I understood the career car program. And I said, you know what? I have a car, but my dream has always been to give my mom a car. I'm going to earn a car. But then she talked about all the positions and got to national. When she got to the national position, she talked about the family security program, the pension, and I used to be a pension actuary, and I was like, I'm sorry, they pay them a retirement? She explained it to me, and that was the moment I decided I was gonna build my career with Mary Kay. It was in that moment. So had I not been consistent about doing my parties and my faces and my reorders, Daisha would not have come over to my house to explain this to me. I said, now I don't want to be a director. I just want to be a car driver, and you're going to take care of all these people, right? Like, I'm not in charge of them. She's like, that's exactly right. I said, awesome, because I want to earn a car for my mom, and then I'll have a second way to make income, 50% on my sales, 13% on my team building. She said, perfect, let's pull out your date book. I'm going to go to your first 3 parties and share the marketing. Don't interrupt me. Don't say anything. Just take notes and watch as I recruit someone. I was like, okay, sure, try it. You're going to recruit somebody? Yeah, right. That's what I thought. She goes to my first party and she recruits my hostess. And I was like, Marianne. I was blown away by that. She went to my next party, recruited my hostess. By the 3rd party, I canceled. I said, Deja, don't come. I know what I'm doing. I was so fired up by her adding 2 people. So these people who are telling you they don't want to recruit, go physically do the marketing at one of their parties, and it will change their business and their mindset. So I didn't want to recruit. So by the end of that month, I was on target for my car, and that was 5. And it wasn't until it was kind of like 2 days before the month ended that I was like, you know what? I really like this team thing. Like, I really liked doing their first parties and showing them what I'd learned. Like, I didn't realize I was a good teacher, and I didn't know I was a good leader. Isn't that crazy? You don't know what's inside of you, girl. You don't know all that God packed into you until you start consistently living this business out with consistent activity. I had no idea what was inside of me. So I said, Deisha, you know, I really like this. I think I do want to be a director. She said, you do? I'm like, yes. She said, well, we'll talk about DIQ for next month. I said, but girl, I need 8 and I only have 5. She says, I know, but don't worry. The next month you'll go in DIQ. And I'm going to tell you that I already had my agenda booked because I was trained never to leave a party without getting more parties booked. If you could leave a party without booking more parties, it's the same thing as me saying, here's $500. I'm gonna leave them right here on this table. If you can afford to leave them there, leave them there. But if you need those $500, I suggest you just walk by this table and take them on the way out. Would you leave those $500 there, or would you pass by my table and pick up the $500 and say, thanks, Auri, right? You'd come by and pick up your $500. Well, not booking parties from your parties is the same thing as leaving $500 cash on the table. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna get my $500 cash. So I learned this skill set. The most powerful skill set I have ever had is booking parties from parties. The moment you master that is the moment you will master everything. Because to me, there is nothing harder than that. When you get that done, and it really isn't that hard, it's just saying the script and not chickening out. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen the script, but you chicken out. You add an or a maybe, or if you'd like to, instead of just sticking to the script that your director gave you. You know what I'm talking about? You need to stick to the script, sister. And it works because it worked for me. I did not chicken out. I said it the way I was supposed to, and I got booking after booking after booking. I'm going to tell you why I did not chicken out. Because I was actually more scared of not getting bookings because I didn't know any women, because I was a tomboy before Mary Kay. I was like, oh my gosh, I met new women today. They have to fall in love with me because they have to hold parties for me because I don't know any other women. I mean, it was that simple. So I did not leave a party without more parties. So my calendar was so packed. But by the time Daisha recruited those first 2, I added the last 3 on my own. I had 5. I was on target for my car, and that was September 30th. So October 1st, I'm an on-target car driver, and I had decided I want to be a DIQ. I want to be a director. I did not decide I want to be a DIQ. I said I want to be a director, and I need 8 to go into DIQ. And I made this really smart decision. I want you to catch this and not forget it, because this is part of finishing in 2.5 weeks. I said, you know what? I'm going to pretend I'm already in DIQ, and I'm going to run full throttle. So in October, I held parties, I would say an average of 5 a week, about 5 a week. And I want you guys to know that, and this is while holding a full-time job. I just did it nights and weekends whenever I could. I added 10 new personal team members in October, and earn my car. So when I started DIQ November 1st, I started with 15 personal team members. And that's why we finished at 2.5 weeks. Now, back then you started with 8, but you had to end with 30. There was a difference, and 18,000 in production wholesale. Okay. Why did I finish in 2.5 weeks? Was because I'm a woman of my word. I told Daisha, I said, I'm going to finish DIQ in 1 month. And she's like, okay. Well, that first week of November, because I still had a full-time job, I had a business trip and my actuarial exam in Atlanta. So I was on a business trip. I was gone the first week of November. You do not go out of town while you're in DIQ or vacation or anything. She's like, Auri, I'm like, I know. And then this is back in the day when they would close the month out early, and November is Thanksgiving. So they actually closed the month the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which was the 23rd of November. So I got back from Atlanta on the 7th. And the month ended November 23rd. So that was exactly 2.5 weeks. You're like, how did you do it? I'm going to give you my tips here. All right. First of all, my meetings were on Monday nights. My new consultant orientation was on Tuesday nights, okay? Traditionally, my date night was Wednesday night. I spoke to Shane. I was like, baby, you're not going to see me this month because I'm going to run. And he's like, that's fine. I don't care. I was like, great. Awesome. Okay, so I held a party Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. Saturday, I did 3. And Sunday, I would do 2 after church. That's 8 a week. When you do 8 times 2.5, okay? That's almost 20 parties, okay? And that's how you exit DIQ. To get out of DIQ, you and your unit need to do 40 parties, and 20 of them must be held personally. I mean, that's basically it, okay? Because I started with 15, I only needed to add 15 more. That made it a lot easier, okay? That mindset that I had, let's just pretend we're already in DIQ. I think so many times we're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be in DIQ next month. Stop. Wait a minute. Why don't you just pretend you're in DIQ right now? What would change? What would be different? How much more would you play out? How much more full out would you play? How much more would you draw out of you if you just pretended you were already in DIQ? Now, you've done this with many things in your life. Before you became someone's wife, guess what? You pretended you were their wife. You acted like their wife. You walked around like you were his wife, right? You guys dated, kissed, you hugged, you were introduced as his future wife. It's the same exact thing. It's the same thing. You're just going to pretend that you're already in DIQ. How many more can you add? And it shouldn't be just start with 8. Why not start with 9? Why not start with 10? Why not start with 15? Why not start with 16? You'll be done faster, right? And so sometimes we set these minimums, like, oh, I only need, and that's kind of like working from desperation a little bit. And it's really difficult to lead when you're working from desperation. Actually, you can't really lead when you're working from desperation. That's called being desperate. Leading is leading. Like, you're in the front, you're running, and everybody else is following behind your footsteps, okay? So the first thing I want to share you, my very first tip is you have to have a different mindset. If you're going to finish it quickly, you have to have a different mindset. You have to imagine, pretend, believe as if you're already in DIQ. That's the first thing. With no minimums. Do not think minimums. I want you to think maximums. You guys, April is such an amazing month, and we still have 2 entire weeks to the month of April. How many more can you add in 2 weeks? Seriously, you can add 5 more, 10 more. Start DIQ with tons more people. You'll have so much more momentum. You'll be done so much faster, okay? The second tip that I want to share with you is I cleared out my agenda. That was a season of my life that I did not volunteer at church. I just want you guys to know I always take care of the little kids at church. That was not a season in my life that I had date night. I just didn't. I cleared out my agenda to make more room for Mary Kay. And I don't mean to move everything, but I'm just saying I didn't socialize. I didn't go out on social gatherings. It was literally working out, and Mary Kay. Those were the only 3 things that I did. You know, I had dinner with Shane every night. That was basically it. You know, I'd have my parties after work, or sometimes I didn't have dinner with him. I didn't, because I get home super late. So I just want you guys to know, it's just, that was just a season, but I wanted to see what directorship was going to be like. And while I was in DIQ, I felt this empowerment that my example mattered, that the work I had done, the parties I had held, what I had learned, the scripts, all that was transferable to my consultants. And so it's so powerful for a season to say no to other things that don't matter. You've got to get really clear on your priorities. And it's going to look like this: your God, your family, and your career. Like that's it. It's gonna boil down to that. Okay. The other thing that I did, and this was brilliant. I had an assistant. As soon as I've always been really coachable. As soon as I signed my DIQ card, like on the first of the month, I said, Deja, what do I need to do? She goes, you need an assistant. I said, who do I hire? She goes, this girl. I said, perfect. How much do I pay her? This much. Go talk to your director. She's going to tell you. I don't have time to think of that. I go, how many times does she come? She goes, she comes every single day to your house. And every day she enters in your customers, make sure that they get their PCP. She enters in all the receipts, make sure that everything gets processed on ProPay. And she adds everything you've sold from your sales tickets into your reorder. So you don't have to touch the computer. I thought that's just brilliant. She also hand wrote all my thank you cards, all my coaching cards, all my invitations. She did all of that. Let me tell you what else she did. This was genius. I had 2 starter kits in DIQ and I had 2 sets of inventory. So I had 2 identical starter kits. She had a checklist and I taught her exactly how to pack them and how to check them. Okay. And then she had 2 identical sets of inventory. And so on Wednesday night when I held a party, right? You know what your starter kit looks like after a party? It looks like this. Like you literally take everything off the table, you like shove it in there and zip it up. You're like, bye. I had so much fun. It's like everything in there is dying together, right? So that would show up to my house and I never cleaned it. I never organized it. It just stayed there dying. And she would come the next day. She had a key to my house. She was only there 2 hours. That was it, 1 to 2 hours a day. And she would clean that starter kit. But when I got home, I had a brand new starter kit, everything organized, and a brand new set of inventory. And I would put that in my car and I would leave the busted one there and she would come and clean it and organize it and restock and everything. And then we would do this. And for the weekend, I would take both starter kits with me and both sets of inventory. And that was it. So I could just be able to go from party to party. And that was such a lifesaver. I just want you guys to know that was such a lifesaver. That made the world of a difference, is to have that much stuff organized that I never had to touch. And that's one of the reasons why I was able to move so quickly with no burnout. I was not burned out. I was beyond exhilarated, pumped, thrilled, enthralled, ignited, passionate. I was like, I could do this forever. All I did was the people, the faces, the people and the faces. That's all that I did. I did not touch anything else. Now, she was a consultant. I don't believe in hiring people that aren't consultants. If I have to explain to you what a miracle set is, I can't. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, I'm like, I can't explain to you what PCP is. It's not a drug. It's the preferred customer program. You understand what I'm saying? So I did hire someone who was a consultant. Okay. So your director can help you with that. So I had an assistant, very obedient, did it right away. Number 2, well, I don't know what number this is, but I had 2 starter kits. Okay. I had 2 starter kits. And the last one that I want to share with you is I had the goal of debuting with Red Jackets and senior consultants. I really did. I wanted to have a team that already understood the concept of sharing this opportunity with a lot of passion. And so I actually debuted with 1 on-target card driver and 2 other Red Jackets and a few seniors. And so my unit debuted with a lot of strength, a lot of strength. What made it so simple was the amount of bookings that I had. And it looks something like this. I'm at your party and you're my hostess and I really want to recruit you. And I was like, hey, you guys, and all your friends and family are there. The closest women, the women that have the most influence in your life are there. I just shared the Mary Kay business opportunity after the facial. They're all super excited. I passed around the Applause magazine. I told them how awesome Mary Kay is. They love their makeover. They love the way their face looks. You guys, at this moment, I've just shared the opportunity. They're all like, wow, this is so good. Why haven't I heard of this? Oh my goodness. I'm like, who do you guys think would be good at this? And they're like, Lillian, she would be so good. I'm like, okay, Lillian, she would be so good. I would love to have her on my team. Lillian, let me tell you something. I met you at your cousin's party, Sandra, right? So I have like a lot of bookings in my calendar from Sandra's party. And my business is growing and booming so much that I don't have time to hold all these parties. So should you decide to start with product, just give them the same service I would, I want you to know those 4 parties are for you. So I just want you to think about it, because that's literally me handing you a book of business. There's no way you're not going to be successful. And I'm the one who trains you. You want to be able to do that. You want to have so many bookings that you could say, listen, I really would love for you to join because I have so many bookings that I can't hold them all. And so, and I know this is your family. Like Sandra's your cousin. So her mom booked a party. Her sister booked a party. So this is your cousin and your aunt. Trust me, they would rather help you grow your business than help me do a party, don't you think? And they start thinking, and then all the girls at the table are like, yeah, you need to do it, and I'll do one, and I'll do one, right? The same scenario happens. I'll hold one, I'll buy from you. Then she goes, you know what, I'll do it. I'm like, yay, Lillian. And always my reaction as soon as someone says okay is I go, yay, and I go over and I hug her, and then I say, congratulations, welcome, here, fill out your agreement. And I always have people fill out a paper agreement. There's just something psychological about that. Even if they fill out an online, like that, like seals the deal. And so that is how I finished my qualification in such a short period of time, is that I was leading by example, out there holding the parties, having so much business. I was actually looking for people to hand business over to. I remember one of the girls, just to give you like an insight into how much activity there was, one of the girls who came in October with a Diamond Star, a $3,000 order, in November during our qualification, reordered 3,000 wholesale. That's how much she had sold, okay? Why? Because I met her at a party. That's what she saw. So she just went out and did parties. Because when that's all that you do and there isn't much else to do, people understand why they're joining. They do. They're like, so what is it that I'm supposed to do again? I'm supposed to do facials? What? Huh? I don't understand. No, they don't ask those types of questions. They met you at a party. They saw what you did. They signed because they're like, I can do that. Anybody can do that. Your lip gloss goes here and your eyeshadow goes here and your blush goes here. Yeah, I can do that. Where do I sign? So they've already been trained. And so when people have already been trained, they follow to suit. They really, really do. The last thing I want to share with you is I never doubted that I wouldn't finish. That wasn't an idea, a thought in my mind. And that goes back to what I started with in my training at the beginning. And that's because I had extremely consistent activity. When you have extremely consistent activity, you have belief like none other. And that is a gift that you deserve to have for yourself. That is a gift that you deserve to give to the team that you're building. That is a gift that you deserve to have for the area that you're building. It is absolutely priceless, priceless, priceless. So I'm going to close with this. And it is the same quote. I just want to repeat it. Build a routine that creates a machine that drives the dream. And so even if DIQ is not on the radar for you, I know that there's a lot that you can glean from what I just taught. I always treated this like a business. It's always been a business to me because that's what I saw from my senior director. And I wanted to give Mary Kay the honor that she deserves, and honoring her by treating this like a business. I knew the sacrifices she had made for me to have the gift that I have. Today, I love being a national sales director. I love all the dreams I've made a reality. I'm so excited for the dreams that are gonna happen. I love that I get to keep dreaming, and I love that I get to empower you to dream again. So thank you so much for joining us today on our Red Jacket Movement Final Four. Go finish out April with a lot of gusto. And I do want to give you a quick little tip for those of you that are beginning to run out of your former miracle sets and you can't order them to May and you're like, what do you do? So my strategy is once I've sold through all of my miracle sets and I'm almost done, I only have 2, I'm so excited, is I'm focusing on repair kit sales. So I'm approaching women who look 40 or beyond, and I'm focusing on repair kit sales. And I have reached out to all my former Miracle Set customers and let them know that I have a special going on, that when they take home their Miracle Set, they get a free firming eye cream. And so I'm willing to do that because I want to move my Miracle Sets, and I keep the ball rolling with my time-wise firming, with my repair kits. I'm like, I can't talk. I keep the ball rolling with my repair kit facials, and the reorders from that are so amazing. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Thank you for being on. You are powerful. You are beautiful. You are incredible. You're amazing. You have it in you. You have that belief. You have your director support, your national support. We love you, and I'm excited to celebrate you as you cross the seminar stage with all the achievements that you have dreamed of and worked for consistently. Have a powerful, pink, and on purpose night. Bye.